Our next speaker is Amit Mittal, joining us from India today. Amit is the founder of Route to Market, based in Delhi. He has been the founder of this company for over a year now. Previously working as a director for DMH Business Advisor for over 4 years, and also a director of OM Kiran Warehouse Complex based in Ghaziabad, and also a business mentor for Ananda Foods and Beverage based in Delhi. So he's got a lot of experience in the logistic real estate market in India. And Amit's sessions today is called Impact of E-commerce on Logistic Facilities and the New Warehousing Requirements. So Amit, welcome, go ahead.
Thank you, Max and Global Supply Chain Council for inviting me to speak at this Logistics Real Estate Virtual Summit 2020. It's a great experience to present before this wonderful audience. Technology has been a great enabler and a big disruptor of the norms. The virtual summit, I think, would become a normal so as to eliminate all the hassles associated with this physical presence and while retaining the essence. Once again, thanking the organizers. I'm Amit Mittal, founder of Route to Market, an umbrella brand for companies representing interest in warehousing, distribution, and market entry solutions. Om Kiran Logistics Park is a network partner of Route to Market and is in business of warehousing for almost 2 decades now. We run a warehouse facility of 500,000 square feet in Delhi NCR region. This presentation of mine is on the impact of e-commerce on the logistic facilities and the new warehousing requirements. For the convenience, I have divided this presentation in 4 parts, where I will introducing in the first part the e-commerce landscape in India. The second part would be to the logistic landscape which is relevant to e-commerce in India. Then we move on to the factors that impacted logistics to change and stay in tune with the demands of e-commerce players. And then we talk about the warehousing requirements, the modern warehousing requirement of India. During the session, you are free to ask any question, which you can post in the comment section, which is located below on this page. My contact details are at the end of the presentation with my email ID. In case you have further questions, feel free to ask me by sending an email. So we start now. I'm sorry. Yes. India, a land of billion-plus opportunities. I'm sure most of the participants are aware of the potential that India is offering. However, to recap, I present before you that we account for 7.7% of the global GDP. We are the fastest growing large economy of the world. We are 1.3 billion population, which represents the largest consumer class after China. Our government initiatives for digitalization in form of Digital India, new tax reforms of GST introduction, making India as a one market, income enhancing schemes like Skill India, sector specific schemes for agriculture, aviation, MSME, alternate energy are translating in buoyancy in the markets. The consumer demands are rising. The e-commerce market of India is on a growth trajectory. We are projected to grow to $150 billion by 2022, which will be almost doubling ourselves. The present e-commerce market is estimated somewhere around between 70 and 80 billion dollars. Every month we are acting 10 million active internet users, which is highest in the world. Our retail markets are estimated about $900 billion, which are projected to grow in next 2 years to 1.2 trillion. I'm presenting before you the prevalent e-commerce channels. Probably you are familiar with all of these, but to set a tone, I would just run through these slide. So I would also like to emphasize on the fact that we have witnessed an exponential growth in the e-commerce trade. And this is mainly due to the fact the size of the market, increasing penetration of the internet, increased use of smartphones. By the way, you would be happy to know that the smartphone penetration in India is more than 50% of the phones that are being used. We are a young nation. By 2030, we would be the biggest young nation of the world, where the average population age would be in between 20 and 30. We have a diverse population, multiple cultures, multiple festival, which keeps the demand high, and convenience of shopping from home uh, is booming the e-commerce trade. When we look at these channels, B2B, B2C, that is business to consumer, we all are familiar, all the large companies are doing across the world. B2B is evolving, or the next trend in the market. There are companies like IndiaMart, Tolexo, we are building their businesses on that. Even B2C company like Amazon have started a dedicated B2B portal for the institutional demands. Customer to customer probably is not existing in many countries, or it is still at an nascent stage. Is much evolved in India, where customers vend their new or the used stuff online. We have company like OLX, we have company like Quicker, which are doing this customer to facilitating this customer to customer transaction. C2B business, that is consumer to business, is still is not grown, but I can still remember one or two players which are there who are collating the customer demand and presenting before companies as an opportunity and helping them get a good deal. Business to government is another big channel which has grown. It is mainly due to government initiative for introducing transparency. We have now a government procurement portal which is called GEM, that is Government E-Marketplace. All government tenders are via e-form. So this is propelling the business to government channel as well. We are all aware of the buying and selling of goods on internet is either a mobile app based or a desktop computer or maybe a tablet. So, but the big thing that has fueled this in India is that we now have a payment system which is called Unified Payment Interface. So it is different from payment gateways, the international payment gateways that are normally run by companies like MasterCard or similar. It is developed by National Payment Corporation of India, and it's a real-time settlement uh, from one account to another bank account, and that too without levying of any kind of charges. We are all aware of a charge called MDR, merchant discount rate. So when the transaction is routed through a UPI on a UPI platform, which is available as an app on your phone, or it is integrated in the um, with the app on which you are doing this transaction, the payment transfers seamlessly in no time. These are the few e-commerce players that I have mentioned. I mean, I just wanted to present before you a depth of the market. So when we look at the e-commerce players, we have the normal B2C, B2B players which are listed, and then we have got category-led players. The top one, Big Basket, is a player which is dedicated to delivering groceries at home. We have a company like Festival Bazaar, which is dedicated for Festival Bazaar delivers gift items and special occasion items. We have got omni channels like company like Fab India, which has got a physical store. They have got counters within big department stores. They have got their own online channels so that customer can have a look and feel, and then they can buy from there. Services company Make My Trip, telling selling tours packages and similar like this. When we talk of logistics, we all know that logistics is a process. I mean, in fact, e-commerce has impacted all of these form or the processes of logistics, which is transportations, warehousing, and administration. E-commerce has all have impacted all of these verticals or the offerings within the logistic gambit. However, my background is largely from distribution and warehousing, so I would like to focus more on warehousing. Of course, I'll be touching upon the other things also, but the warehousing will remain the main foray uh, when I talk of major logistics players. So, see, what had happened is that e-commerce have given birth to specialized e-commerce logistics firm. So we were having a homegrown businesses firm which were running before the companies dedicated to e-commerce had come. We have got the international players like DHL, TNT working, but this e-commerce created a new set of players, which was more a necessity and which for initial days were funded or created out of their business units only to present before us these new age players like e-cart logistics, which is a part which used to be a part of Flipkart but now operates as an independent company. Similarly, Amazon operates a company called Amazon Transportation Services, which is again offering dedicated delivery services for Amazon. We have company like Vulcan Express, which was created by a now extinct e-commerce, now nearly extinct, sorry, company called Snapdeal. So Vulcan Express is now part of Future Consumer. So all these companies have now catering to their parent as well as to the market demands and have become a dedicated logistics player. And now, when I look at the impact of e-commerce, I mean, in fact, all these last 2 decades have been so it, uh, evolving that there has been technology changes. The Indian economy has globalized to a very large extent. The consumer's income has risen to a very great way. New consumer classes are created. So, I mean, attributing a change entirely to the e-commerce boom would have not been fair. So what I tried, I looked at each and every attribute and picked up the most relevant ones to present before you. So I've just tried to capture them in 3 points. The number one attribute of e-commerce, I could say that customers uh, want quick deliveries. So, I mean, the main benefit of shopping e-commerce is that you don't have to move out of your house. You can see the product. You have wider selection before you order, but the physical feel of the product is not available, and then it's important to be delivered as fast as possible. So, I mean, the customers want very quick delivery when they are buying online. So it is essential to have the warehouses closer to the customer. And India is a very large country. It's almost a continent-sized country. It is basing it always nearer to customer is a challenge. And then on the top, the demand is always unpredictable. I mean, you cannot predict the demand. All consumer goods have a shelf life. So to take care of these challenges, of course, we have technology tools which offers us demand mapping and predictions. However, fulfilling this demand always remain a logistics challenge. So, I mean, if I need to substantiate it, I can give you an example that I run a online company, and that company is part of Route to Market network. We do online distribution in Next Gen Supply Hub. It's almost 3 years that we have been selling online on our own portal, as well as we have been uh, selling on the marketplaces. But every time there is a festival around, we feel that it's almost impossible to predict a trend. So a manual intervention or manual correction is always required, and it also requires sometimes to meet that extra demand or that push. We need to hire people outside, so we need to be situated where we can have all access to inventory, where we can procure it in time, where we can have surplus skilled labor availability. So these are the few challenges which has been created, but it is not possible that all warehouses could be located in major city centers. So these e-commerce companies have come up with a large format, hybrid format, where they're maintaining large facilities just outside the city limits and forming a ring around the big consumption centers. These big centers are often called hub, and they are linked to the smaller nodes which are inside the consumer centers. And these consumer centers can be a distribution center also, or they could be outsourced also. And these consumer centers are run by the outsourced partner of a online player. So and the ones inside the city are known as nodes. So we have hubs which are ringing the city, and we have got nodes within the city to take care of the demand and the return management. So just to give you an example of the major facilities that have come up, that's in Gurugram, which is in Delhi NCR, Bhiwandi and Thane for the Mumbai region, Changodar Bagodara cluster for Ahmedabad, Hoskote Nasarpura for Bangalore, and we have Madhavaram for Chennai. Moving on to the next slide is, uh, can we move to the next one? Location. Yeah, the physical attributes. So see, what had happened in the physical appearance of the warehouses in last decade is, in terms of their size, the height, the storage system, and the return management. These four factors within have prompted the size of the warehouses have to change. I mean, now we have mega size facilities. I remember a time where, say, 15 years back, when a 50,000 square feet facility to 200,000 square feet facility for a large size consumer company was good for one particular state. But with this e-commerce players company, a size which is anything between 500,000 to 1 million is becoming a norm to set up a major hub around a consumption center. So these warehouses of a e-com player have actually turned into a light manufacturing unit. So just to give you an example, this company Flipkart, which is owned by Walmart, is setting up a facility nearer to Kolkata on a 40 hectares of ground with an investment of 10 billion rupees. So, I mean, this size of a facility was never heard of. It has also prompted the height to go up. I mean, from a standard 6 to 7 meters warehouse, a 12-meter warehouse is a norm now. Insulated roofing system, change in storage. So this has all affected the physical attributes of our warehouse, which was not before when the e-commerce players were not there. And the last, I mean, which has been one of the major contribution of e-commerce to the warehousing, is the automation and use of technology. There is now more and more use of material handling equipments. Since the height of storage have moved up, we have got retrieval systems in terms of reach trucks, the forklifts, more palletized cargo that we have. And at the same time, to now I could also see there's a shift to a dense racking system. So to economize on the available space, the racking system the space between alleys is being reduced, and automated retrieval systems are being used so that the car, without the use of a reach truck, the cargo could be, or the container could be retrieved from those from the bins. So I could also see a trend towards a change in green warehouses, since these warehouses used by e-commerce are a guzzler, energy guzzler, use of consumer, use of air conditioning, computer systems, barcode scanners. electric operated trucks. So to help to keep them running, we need lots of energy. So we have solar panels which are fixed on the rooftop of the warehouses to generate power to keep these warehousing running and in a way contribute to the environment. So overall, what had happened? So overall, all this has contributed to a smart storage solution. So what is smart storage solution? Storage solution is technologies when work together to increase the productivity and efficiency of the warehouse, to minimize the number of errors, to have less human workers, and also to keep on decreasing errors with every step. We look at the Indian warehousing. So, what are the current trends in Indian warehousing? So, I have just mentioned a few points in the slide, which will give you an idea. But to back it up, I would inform you that the cost of Indian logistics is 14%, which is high in terms of the global average, which is 8%. And this could be attributed a lot to the unorganized and fragmented nature of the logistic facilities that we have. And then we have this population which has access to e-commerce, and the demands are increasing. So there is a necessity to regulate this sector as well. GST, goods and services tax, have actually unified the markets across India, and I could see a heightened investor interest in the warehousing assets. Like Everstone Group invested in a company called Indospace. We have logos from Singapore, which has have created a fund to invest in the warehousing facilities. I could see that the real estate developers like Raheja, Embassy Group, Prestige, jumping into creating warehousing asset. So there is a more and more need to regulate these sectors, and companies now feel that when they can move their goods from factory to warehouses and from there to the distributors, why not move it from directly from warehouses to the customer? So direct to customer model is being preferred norm. What are the challenges before this industry? So the challenges, I mean, this is one of the one slide which is I would like to give more time to, is the land legislations. India is like 30 to 29 states. So each state has its own different land regulation and development authority. So that creates though it looks as a one country from outside, but now you have 29 state governments to whom you have to deal with for the land acquisition and the building bylaws. And within those state governments, there can be overlapping rules and regulation by different bodies. So that is very important to consider before you set up a warehouse in India. And the legal system is still evolving. It's an archaic legal system. It takes decades before a matter could be judicially decided. The taxation regime is not favorable to warehousing. It is still being considered as a so far the taxation is concerned being associated more with real estate and kind of a speculative activity, though it has an industry status now. But the bankers still do not want to lend it at a normal rate, and it is more like the cost of borrowing is high. The taxation on building material is not allowed as a input credit to the end user. So these are creating a regressive taxation regime, and at the end of the day, it's more led by the investors rather than by operators. What are the future trends? So future trends are very clear: more of automation, more of efficiency, more of productivity, consolidations. We have a few industrial corridors which are coming on between the major cities like Delhi Mumbai Industrial Corridor. We have a Delhi Kolkata corridor. We have got a east west corridor which is running, and all these corridors are creating new opportunity for creating the warehousing asset. And we also see that the skill set to run the warehouses is being developed across different faculties, and I can see more and more people now prompted to join the warehouse industry, which was never the case before. These are the few key takeaways which I have enlisted here. But the major takeaways, I would still summarize that the warehousing asset size has to increase. The consolidation will happen. The sector needs to be regulated. There has to be tax-friendly regime. So these are the few takeaways from the here, and I could see that it is this warehousing market is an inflection point, and soon from here it would be rising upward. My company is called Route to Market. We are a conglomerate of services. We offer everything for a company which is planning to enter India. So we typically handhold them and guide them through the process. And before the business stabilizes, we act as an incubator. So Route to Market is a complete environment for a company which is planning to enter India. Uh, I'm here to take your questions. So feel free, and these are my contact coordinates. Thank you for staying with me, and let me know if there are any questions. I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much again for this presentation. This was very interesting. I wanted to remind you that you guys can actually ask questions at any time, and then those questions can be posted in the comment section below this page. The speaker will be watching those questions and answering them in real time using the comments. You can also continue the discussion if you want by joining the group on chain.net. You should have received an invitation, so in this group, you can meet with the other delegates and access to other content related to the theme of this summit. And also last, I wanted to remind you that we will have a virtual networking sessions at 5 o'clock today. So feel free to join us. And then this way you can meet people face-to-face in real time. Also the speakers will be there. So join us. It will be late afternoon. So I hope you're enjoying the session, and we look forward to see you again at the next one. Thank you.